And you cannot say that, hey, can I as a person who just makes shit up have the same benefit of the doubt as a person who provides actual sources but got shit wrong? Can I have that same benefit of doubt? I'm sure that this video has been inspired or been brought forth in some way by the Pontius video, or Pontius video in regards to himself. And so let's see what has taken us. I think this will be quite an interesting video.
G'day guys and gal. Warhammer 40k is arguably the most in-depth, lore-rich fictional setting there is. There are hundreds of full-length novels featuring thousands of...
I'm just going to go back a little bit.
G'day guys and gal. Warhammer 40k is arguably the most in-depth, lore-rich fictional setting there is. There are hundreds of full-length novels featuring thousands of characters from dozens of factions, split into hundreds of sub-factions, all trying to share the setting. It's complicated. I've personally read over 100 40k books and spent thousands of hours.
I thought he just listens to the audiobooks. Didn't he say in the Pontius video that he listens to the audiobooks while he's at the gym?
Researching it, and I still do not have.
I mean, you could probably just read it afterwards.
I know more than 99.99% of Warhammer fans, and it even sometimes feels like I know more about the lore than GW does, and I still haven't learned everything there is to learn. Now, recently, there's been a few voices in the community. I'm not going to name them because I'm pretty sure they're just...
I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit because he speaks quite fast, and we want everything as clear as possible.
Up a fuss for attention that are basically just...
Oh, okay, so he's talking about the Pontius.
Voices in the community. I'm not going to name them because I'm pretty sure they're just kicking up a fuss for attention that have basically just been raging at myself and many of my fellow lore YouTubers as they feel as if a lot of the lore has been corrupted by us knowing it well enough, thus teaching hundreds of thousands of people the lore wrong. Now, I personally believe they're just salty. People don't find their styles particularly interesting and they would rather lash out than become more interesting, but I'll indulge them and I'll say that they're trying to be genuine. So I saw this video as a perfect opportunity to discuss why 40k is such a challenge.
Oh, that's a dig.
Trying to be genuine. So I saw.
So he's saying that they're not actually genuine, but he's going to argue in good faith that they are genuine. But he's saying that they're not genuine, in his opinion. Well, I like this, man. I like the way this guy talks, man.
I would rather lash out than become more interesting, but I'll indulge them and I'll say that they're trying to be genuine. So I saw this video as a perfect opportunity to discuss why 40k is such a challenging setting from a lore perspective, why those loud minorities have a terrible attitude, why their hissy fits aren't helping anyone, as well as why they are both wrong and hypocritical in order to give a better perspective on the lore as a whole. Before we get started, this is the last 24 hours of the...
Oh, by the way, if he's going to do a promotion on his like Patreon Smart content, I'm going to skip it. Usually I don't skip it, but if it shows up, it's not really supposed to be on YouTube, I will skip that. Also, while he's talking right now, do you think this video is inspired by the Pontius? Like, it's just not him talking about that subject in general. This is really just a reply to the Pontius without putting his name up there, right?
Guys and gal. See, a physical calendar isn't just a novelty. It's a great way to record.
No, I mean, I'm reacting to his video. It's ethical to do this. Right? You might not like the guy, but it's not ethical to skip, like, you know, and add that to a video that you're actually reacting to. It's just not right.
We got him. You like space cells? We got him. We even got some Tau lovers out there. And
it's not about the Pontius?
Extremely cool.
We'll see.
It comes in A4, A3, and A3 Legendary Edition, which I
do need a calendar. Left. You know, actually, you know what? Like, a calendar would be really useful to me right now. Remember, like, that discussion we had on Discord, saying I need to plan my video releases a lot better. You know, like, one of these will actually help me out a lot. If Major Kill actually, you know,
comes in
never mind.
A3.
I was going to say, you can shout me out one.
Left. Legendary features a custom front and back artwork, is signed, and comes with an additional artwork. Yes, I hand signed all of them.
Imagine if I have like a Major Kill calendar in the back of my room, and then suddenly I'm like really positive about them.
Below. Today we'll discuss why 40k lore is so difficult to truly understand, why that isn't a bad thing, and why not having complete mastery of the lore doesn't make you a tourist or any less of a 40k fan than someone who doesn't have a job and stays in their parents' basement all day combing through the lore. Let's get into it.
What does that mean? Like, when people do that, I don't care.
There are plenty of awesome sci-fi settings out there. Halo, Star Wars, My Little Pony. But what separates 40k from the rest isn't its grim darkness, it's mostly just how deep the lore goes. If you watched every Star Wars movie, you'd be a certified Star Wars fan. If you watch all the Disney Plus shows as well, you'd be a super fan. If you then read the comics and Legends novels, you'd be an ultra fan turbo virgin. Like
I'm getting called out. It's not a video calling Pontius out. It's a fucking video calling me out. Fuck you, man.
Likewise with Halo. You play all the games and read the comics, you're as big as a fan as it gets. Now take all the time it took you to play Halo and watch Star Wars, and then invest that into reading 40k lore, and you wouldn't even have read half the Horus Heresy, which is a
Halo's a really good franchise. It just
to the 40k setting set 10,000 years prior. Shit is fucked. Now, unlike most sci-fi settings, there is a solid amount of gatekeeping in the 40k community, or at least it feels like there is. Many fans are concerned that 40k going too mainstream or becoming too accessible will allow for modern societal things that can kill the uniqueness of a setting to creep in. Many people say that Star Wars being acquired by Disney ruined it. Now, I'll let you guys debate that one without me. The general gist of it was Star Wars had to sacrifice its soul in order to produce more content out of it. Whether or not that is actually the case is up to each person's perspective. So it has created a bit of an elitist attitude that because 40k is so deep and difficult to fully comprehend, the people who have a decent understanding of it often act like total douche wankers to people who are more casual or just don't have the time to read 300 books. Now, I've always believed that a hobby should be something for you to personally enjoy how you see fit. That doesn't mean you come in, pretend everyone's Space Marine is black and transgender, and yell at anyone that tells you you're wrong. However, it does mean that enjoying 40k via watching some YouTube videos, maybe reading a book or two, and maybe painting 1 or 2 minis means you are a valid, certified 40k fan. If you think what I just said was controversial, I honestly think you should touch grass. Now, I want to take this a step further before I get too lost in the source. Warhammer 40k has so many novels and lore because it has a
Can you show this on YouTube?
shitload of writers. Now, the writers try not to create lore conflicts. They try not to make the same characters sound extremely different between books. They try to make the lore flow. GW even has people who try and keep the lore cohesive and minimize canon conflicts, but it's a nearly impossible task and mistakes creep through. For example, I recently read the second Vaults of Terror book as well as the first Watches of the Throne book, 2 reasonably recent novels that both take place on Terra around the same time and even reference some of the characters. I mean, fuck, they both had the same author. However, it did seem to have a strange canon conflict. When the Astronomicon went out, Vaults of Terror made it seem like the Great Rift opened, put a bunch of pressure on the Astronomicon, the High Lord of the Astropathic Choir tried to cover it up and fix it, but failed and was killed by an Inquisitor. Yet Watchers of the Throne spoke about the High Lord still being alive and helping to try fix the Astronomicon post it turning off. Now, I haven't read the follow-up books yet.
I actually read that book.
Fix it, but failed and was killed by an Inquisitor. Yet Watchers of the Lord of the Astropathic Vaults of Terror made it seem like the Great Rift opened, put a bunch of pressure on the Astronomicon, the High Lord of the Astropathic Choir tried to cover it up and fix it, but failed and was killed by an Inquisitor. Yet
I don't think he actually tried to fix it. Like the fabricator actually came down. Like everyone knew about that. Like it's not something you can actually hide when the Astronomicon shuts.
Watchers of the Throne spoke about the High Lord still being alive and helping to try fix the Astronomicon post it turning off. Now, I haven't read the follow-up books yet, so unless the next books have to go back and straighten it out, which maybe they will, that is a canon conflict from the same author from books released only 3 years apart. So imagine how many fuck-ups there are over the span of 30 years and dozens of authors. Another one off the top of my head is in Watchers of the Throne, when a Sister of Silence kills a demon, the demon is banished. However, newer lore says that when a Sister of Silence kills a demon, the demon truly dies. There is just constant retcons, canon conflicts, and lore that just doesn't gel together. On about 50% of 40k lore wiki pages, there is a designated section for source and canon conflict.
This is from the fandom wiki, isn't it?
So it's honestly very difficult to get things right, because if person 1 says one thing and person B says something totally opposite, there's a chance that they're both correct and both citing correct source material, like the Sister of Silence demon slaying example. During one book I was reading, the start literally said, "By the way, we've retconned the timeline here to better suit the narrative we want to build." It's wild. Now, the funny thing is a lot of those douche canoes who claim to know everything, and then if someone doesn't have 100% infallible knowledge on all of 40k's lore, then they shouldn't be a lore content creator, also fuck up pretty regularly. One of them threw a bitch fit once because of the existence of black ultramarines. They claimed that Space Marine gene seed would overwrite their base genetics to make them look like their Primarch, including race, citing the Salamanders or many Sons of Horus as examples. And yeah, sure, often many Space Marines will look more like their Primarchs upon ascending, but the Salamanders are a special example of skin color change due to a gene seed defect. No other Space Marine does a fucking race change when they receive gene seed. Ultramarine gene seed is also incredibly pure, so it's very rare that it mutates a Space Marine to make them look uncannily like Gilliman, and there is 0 cases of it race changing. Even the Salamander example, which if you actually look at it, is just a pigmentation thing, you could argue it's not even race related. There are dozens of moments in the lore that further prove this, such as non-Asian white scars in the Heresy, black-haired blood angels, Sons of Horus who look nothing like Horus, such as Garviel Loken. So you've got hundreds of 40k books full of lore inconsistencies and errors.
I feel like the Pontius is definitely going to make a reply to this video, because he's making a lot of lore examples that could be like, if I am like fucking turbo autistic, and I'm not saying this word to insult Pontius, he has said many times that he's like a turbo autist. If you're gonna give him that many things, it feels like you're feeding the Pontius ammunition at this moment.
How do you actually try and comprehend the entire lore? That's the neat part. You don't. What makes 40k so appealing is how unachievable maxing it out is. It's why there are so many lore channels that have been making content for over 10 years and are still going strong. I find that awesome. I did some extremely rough calculations, and I would say if you consumed every piece of official lore content ever put out, from novels, campaign books, White Dwarf magazines, codexes, it would probably take you around 10,000 hours. Let's say you read for 2 hours every day. It would take you nearly 14 years. Even if you upped it to 4 or 5 hours a day, never skipping a day, that would still take like 6 or 7 years. If you actually did that, congratulations, you are so gay. Now go lose some weight and talk to a human being. I mean, it is impressive, but to act like you're now a better 40k fan than someone who—
That was like a low-key kind of Nelop style, and so but I am curious as to where he, like, let's just keep watching. I don't want to go on a tangent.
Working their way through the Horus Heresy is absurd and very off-putting. So what is the solution if you like Warhammer, but you have a life? That's right, watching lore videos, reading parts of the lore subreddit, even popping into the 40k wiki. I personally recommend the Lexicanum, as everything there has to be cited. However, it does mean sometimes there isn't much information there. People who say 40k lore YouTubers shouldn't exist, you should get all your info from the books, are delusional neckbeard retards. To tell someone they need to invest hundreds of hours and dollars on books just to introduce themselves to the lore is so fucking stupid, especially if they just want to learn a bit about each faction or a specific character. Now, what
I think that there is an expectation for when someone's listening to like a lore, like if you're putting yourself out there on a YouTube video, and especially like if it's like a video title called something like I'm just using this as an easy example. I'm not doing this directly to, you know, insult Major Kill or anything. But there'll be video be like, oh, the Space Sharks explained, or, you know, something mystery solved. And there's an expectation when you have like a title like similar to that, as well as being a YouTuber, that you will be releasing information that is going to be more thought out, or releasing information that will be more in depth than what is easily accessible, like on the wiki. People will be expecting more than just, you know, a wiki regurgitation, and I think that's one of the reasons why calling like a lore tuber like a wiki reader is such like a widespread like insult, right? Because it's just saying like, you know, the normal truth. You just putting yourself onto a platform and just reading from the wiki just feels a little bit low effort. And so, and also there's nothing like saying that you read the books as like a lore tuber. It's really just like the bare minimum, man. Like you're just relaying information from the purest source. You know, I feel like that's kind of like isn't that like a good thing? Because at that, when you do that as well, you can also give the source to that, you know, that bit in the book as well. You can give the page number and everything. I mean, that's probably the best way to do it, really, isn't it? Like if you have like, if you found out some mystery in the book, and then you're just relaying it out there in the YouTube video, when you want to give people the source in the book as well, and by doing that, isn't reading the book in the first place the best way to actually do that? Like, I don't get it.
Created.
And what I'm trying to say here right now, like I've said a lot of things, what I'm trying to say here right now is just that going through that extra effort as a lore tuber, I think that's a good thing.
YouTubers shouldn't exist.
You know, it shouldn't just be, hey, it's too much effort, I've got no life and all of that. No, that's your job. Yeah, imagine if you apply that to any other job. Imagine if you apply that to any other job. Hey, reading medical textbooks is for nerds. I can just go on the Mayo Clinic website and just type out the symptoms, and you know, it'll be lupus. Yeah. You know, fuck that. You know, fuck going through all the you know, the dissection cadaver classes, you know, fuck you know, learning about all the symptoms and all that. Fuck, you know, learning the books. Fuck, you know, practice and all that. I just go to Mayo Clinic websites. I mean, the information's all there and the same information. I mean, I mean, if it all comes out as lupus, I mean, what's the point? All points converge to that, answer. No, it definitely, there is a difference. It affects your understanding and affects, the quality of that answer.
40k fan than someone who is working their way through the Horus Heresy is absurd and
yeah, I'm not very, I've got some brain fog today, so I'm not sure if I'm making the best argument, but I hope you guys know what I mean.
Very off-putting. So what is the solution if you like Warhammer, but you have a life? That's right, watching lore videos, reading parts of the lore subreddit, even popping into the 40k wiki. I personally recommend the Lexicanum as everything there has to be cited, however it does mean sometimes there isn't much information there. People who say 40k lore YouTubers shouldn't exist, you should get all your info from the books, are delusional neckbeard retards. To tell someone they need to invest hundreds of hours and dollars on books just to introduce themselves to the lore is so fucking stupid, especially if they just want to learn a bit about each faction or a specific character. Now, what about us lore creators? Do we have a duty of care to ensure everything we say is 100% accurate, cited, and has been double checked? No, because then there would be no 40k creators or none that you'd actually want to watch. I don't pretend to know everything. That is why my videos are often more general or none that you'd actually and has been double checked. We have care to ensure everything we say is 100% accurate, cited, and has been double checked.
That sounds like a bit like a crazy comment.
We have care to ensure everything we say is 100% accurate, cited, and has been double checked. No, because then there would be no 40k creators or none that you'd actually want to.
Why not? And I'm pretty sure there'll be creators who actually does that. So I don't expect anyone to get everything they, I don't expect people to get 100% things right. I won't expect that. Like, if people make a mistake, I can forgive them, especially if they own up to it. If you make like 1,000 videos, 200 videos, guys, if I can get like everything correct in Warhammer 40k, I would not be doing, not me, I don't do lore tubing, but if I was them, I would not be doing freaking Warhammer 40k lore videos. I'll be doing something else that I'd probably pay a lot higher at that point if I've got such an idyllic photographic memory. The fact of the matter is that people are not perfect. They will get things wrong. But the goal and the mission, is to get things correct. Like, why would you not do your best to get something correct? And it's so low effort to say that. If I go on the Lexicanum, if I look up the Ultramarines, there'll be citations there. There will be, for example, I'll give you guys an example. If I go on Lexicanum, and I look up Codex Astartes, I'm giving you an example because I'm making a video. All right, let's say this is the very lowest effort possible. Let's say I'm the biggest slop tuber in the world. I will come down here. Hey, look, here are the sources. Why would I not just click on this, download the PDF, and just go on the page just to make sure that everything there is correct? And by the way, I'm exactly down here right now. It says 20x help. I actually found the citation. I found the page number for them. I think it's page 22. It's going to be on my next video. But as a content creator, if I haven't read through everything, even if I'm doing the sloppiest of slop, as he said, going straight on the Lexicanum, going on Dark Angel 6th edition, looking at page 10, just making sure that everything is correct, that is not hard. Like, if you're a lore tuber, if you're some kind of Warhammer, major kill type channel, that is the bare minimum. That is just called, personal integrity. I mean, you cannot do that, but it just, you cannot do a lot of things. You can, take a piss and then not wash your hands and then go out and have a, you're like a chef or something, right? Yeah, you can do that, but it's just your personal integrity. I think it just says a lot about the person who would accept something like that. And it also just implies that you just make shit up. Because you're talking about something that you fundamentally mean, like, if you don't, let's just go through what he said again, because this is actually kind of shocking to me.
Just want to learn a bit about each faction.
Is your neighbor cutting your grass?
A specific character. Now, what about us lore creators? Do we have a duty of care to ensure everything we say is 100% accurate, cited, and has been double checked? No, because then there would be no 40k creators or none that you'd actually want to watch.
There was a very loud noise when you were talking. I think there was a plane going through. And I think this is like a bad statement anyways, because a lot of lore creators, I'm sure there's a lot of lore creators who do double check everything that they cite. I've said this previous times before, if you're doing like actual research, if you're just reading through the books, like, okay, so if I want to do a video, like if I do a lore video, like I don't do lore videos, right? Like obviously, look at my channel, I don't do lore videos. But if I do lore videos, what would I do? Oh, I want to do a Bedad War. I'll look through, I'll just outline what I want to do. It'll be the Bedad War. Okay, do I want to explain the entire Bedad War or just a certain section of it? Okay, I just want to explain like a certain section of it, a certain timeline. I'll just grab the books. They might include resources like the wiki. I'll get the books as well. And then I'll just go through all the information, and every single relevant information, I'll just highlight it and I'll write it down on a notepad, the page number and the, you know, all of that. It's just normal content creation. You have to do that. Otherwise, you just literally get overwhelmed by information. Unless you're making shit up. Because in one video, you'll be going through at least 3 or 5 points. You're not going to remember what the point says, where the points are and all of that. You will have to write it down somewhere. And then how hard is it to put that information into your video? And when that information is being relayed, just have it on the screen somewhere. Oh, Imperial Armor Volume 2, blah, 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 page 22 or something like that. How hard is that? Because you already have done that research. You're just putting what's already there onto the fucking dinner plate or whatever, right? Onto the fucking screen. If you, I mean, I'm using like a cooking analogy, obviously. Unless you're making shit up. Being wrong about the fact is not the same as pushing an agenda while lying about mission on parts. Cherry-picking lore so you sound credible and leaving 70% of the content. Yeah, and also this is why people dislike just reading straight from the wiki. Is that if I go on the wiki right now, did I close that page? If I go on the wiki right now, there will be information here that will be very factual. This will be very factual. But if I, let's say I open up, so sorry, it's loading. Fuck, why is this taking so long to load? Let's say that I want to source this book. You have all the context here. You have the paragraphs before, leading up to the paragraph, you have the paragraph itself and the paragraph afterwards. You have the past, present, and the future. So you have all the context as to why that is happening. And if you have just the bare facts itself, then, I mean, that's really cool and all, but it can be interpreted in many, many different ways. And by the way, I have this. Do you know why I have this? It's actually kind of funny. I have this one here because like the Inquisitor was like staring at like a naked Grey Knight, and she was making like a comment about how big his dick is. Yeah, all for that, all just to you know, because when I make that Grey Knight lore accurate video, I wanted to as a joke, like Grey Knights lore accurately have big fucking wangs, and then just like put a source on that paragraph. But I didn't do that. But it would have been kind of funny. But you get what I mean. It gives you the context. It lets you be accurate. It lets you relay information better. Why would you not do that? Unless you're either one, being lazy, or two, you're just making something up. The wiki being wrong is one thing, but retard using the wiki and getting half of it wrong still on top of wiki errors is just another level of shit. That's one mind-singular thing. Do you know why that is? It's because they're getting like one fact about it. You know, they're reading, because when you're relaying the lore, there's the information itself and then the situation surrounding it. And then it's kind of like how the Pontius accused Major Kill of not doing the lore on the Custodes Codex properly. Technically, he had it correct, but then he neglected all the context around it. And so, yeah, technically he got 30% of it correct, and you can say, hey, at this certain point, you're correct. But overall, it was incorrect because he omitted the entire context. Like, he misunderstood the entire context because he just read it on like a Reddit post somewhere. I'm pretty sure he read it from a leak. Yeah, and therefore it is not correct. Yeah, exactly. And you have to, it's like 40k, he is correct. 40k it is very complicated because it's like it's interwoven tapestry and all of that. And that's why it's very important to just get your lore from the book itself instead of the actual Wikipedia. Where the hell is that? Wait. Where is it? There it is. Ooh.
No, because then there would be no 40k creators or none that you'd actually want to watch. I don't pretend to know everything. That is why my videos are often more general and short. They're designed to be bite-sized, entertaining, and hook you into the lore. Then after you watch a Major Kill video, you can potentially buy a book, do further reading, or watch a channel like Luton or Voldemort. Likewise, Adeptus Ridiculous or Bricky are similar. They hook people in and make it fun. I'm sorry, but listening to some guy that hasn't seen the sun in 3 years talk about 40k lore like it's the fucking Bible sounds grim as. I would rather pump out lore that is 98 to 99% accurate to hook attention than barely upload because I need to quadruple check that I'm 100% right all the time, even if GW itself is wrong. With the irony being that even if I double checked something to ensure it was accurate, there may be a newer piece of lore making it inaccurate that I was unaware of. What I'm saying is nobody got into Warhammer by clicking a 2-hour deep dive of a Tyranid Gaunt. They did it from content creators like me, or their mates telling them bits and pieces of the lore, or from Astartes, short, fun, and sweet. There is no—
No, I mean, up to here, like, what he's saying right now is probably correct. People do not like things that they do not understand. And people like things when it appeals to them in like a very basic way. Either it's sexually appealing, or, you know, it looks appetizing, or they find it funny. You know, at a very primal way, that's the hook that gets you in. And if it confuses them straight away, they're just going to ignore it. That's just how people are. And that's how advertising works. So Major Kill right now, he is technically correct. People look at content that Bricky made, even if it's factually incorrect, they don't know that, but it's very easy for them to consume. And the same with Major Kill, because Major Kill does content in a very, like, I'm not going to say traditional. When I say the word traditional, it's going to sound really stuffy, but no, I'm going to say traditional YouTube way, which is actually engaging. You know, I need to make the clarification. You're using the technically correct term wrong here. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm not gonna be like that when I'm having a brain fog right now. So right now, what Major Kill here is saying is overall correct.
No one single way 40k should be enjoyed. If you want to go balls to the walls, read as much content as you can and only watch the hectically deep channels that source everything.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that I want to say. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing preventing you from making enjoyable content. There's nothing stopping you from making correct content that is also entertaining. For example, there's nothing wrong with him making I'm gonna use Major Kill as an example again because we're already on this channel. There's nothing wrong if he made something like this, like is he a god and all of that, and make it as correct and factual as possible while being entertaining. There's nothing wrong with that. If he double-checked all his sources, make it... And I know he's going to argue that he gets 99% of things correct, but obviously we will not be having this discussion at this very moment if that is the case. If he gets everything correct, we will not be having that discussion on, like, you can go on Reddit right now. You can look up Reddit, you can look up Twitter, you can even look up, like, his video, his reply back to the Pontius and look at the like and dislike ratio. There's obviously a big consensus on, there's a big enjoyer of the fact that Major Kill in fact does not present the lore in the most accurate way possible, to the point where it's probably not like him not getting 99% of the things right. It's probably a much larger majority than that. And so I think what I'm trying to say right now is that there's nothing like, and this applies to Bricky himself and, you know, all the lore meme people. There's nothing stopping them from making things that are well-researched and correct and entertaining at the same time. This format does not need changing at all. He does not need changing at all. It is the input that's going in and the care taken that really needs changing. And I think once he actually does that, I mean, people can nitpick about his R18 content and whatever, like him being Australian. That's something else. But if he ever does that, if that ever improves, I think there's nothing really there's nothing inherently wrong with his content. Sorry, if that ever happens, outside of dredging up some old skeletons, which I don't really care that much about. Like there are lots of 40k tubers being upfront about their lore not being totally accurate for bigger fun factor. They're just more upfront about it. When you're saying that, are you talking about like Bricky? When he says that he's more into entertainment than he is about lore accuracy and all of that.
I think that's the story on how I had to sit through a Bricky podcast.
Yeah, yo, type that in chat. I'll read it out. But let me get through this first. I just think that yes, it's true that you can put a disclaimer out there, and I think it's fair to say to put a disclaimer out there as well, and to as an encouragement for people to read the book, because at the end of the day, you reading the book yourself is probably the most pure way to actually get into this hobby. Though I will understand that some people have time constraints and all that, so reading, listening to a YouTube video would be more accessible. But the thing is that you being a YouTuber, I mean, guys, like, don't just fucking go on YouTube and just lie. Don't make shit up, because no one wants that. Like, that's just how simple it is. It's not like it's not a license to kill. It's not like a license. You putting a disclaimer out there does not let you make shit up. It just says, hey, oopsie daisies happen. No, Bricky's a shitposter mistaken as a lore tuber. Bricky never said he's accurate, and even has a disclaimer. Oh yeah, that's the second part I want to get into, because there are a lot of people who have that disclaimer up, but they position themselves, the feeling that they're some kind of like a lore master, right? So there was like that thumbnail where Bricky like collabed with someone, and then there was like the arrow pointing at him that says knows the lore. Or, there'll be him in his podcast where he's like dressed up as an inquisitor, and then he'll be explaining the lore to someone who's new to 40k. Yeah, you can put all the disclaimers you like, but the issue is that you're obviously positioning yourself as some kind of authority figure. It's like being a mayor of a town. It's like being like a professor. You're in front of a large audience. You're teaching someone 40k. You're basically doing a lecture, and then at the same time, during that lecture, it's like, hey, by the way, this entire lecture could be bullshit. I could just be making things up, but hey, at least it's haha funny. People come in when you have a thumbnail that's like, let's look at. I haven't seen Bricky nowadays. Let's see what Bricky has. There is an expectation
a bunch of
when people come into like a video that says the worst Warhammer book ever, The Age of Strife, this is fine. People expect to come into a video like this with correct information. Even if it's entertainment first, people will still expect that there is still a duty of truth within that video. Yeah, so I really do not like this whole narrative of, hey, well, number one, people who know the lore, like people who care about the lore, are just like obsessive nerds with no life who are in the basement. It's like, okay. And number two is that I don't like the idea of like YouTubers being somehow have this lack of responsibility that somehow, me sitting there somehow indemnifies me of all responsibility of putting like the correct information out there to the best of our ability. I just don't like that idea. So, I like the Soul Drinkers. They're my favorite chapter. Okay, I'm just reading out Light's comment about listening to Bricky's podcast. So, I like Soul Drinkers. They're my favorite chapter. Then I got the podcast episode about them recommended to me. I couldn't hold myself. I watched through the whole podcast, and at the end, I wanted to chop my dick off with how bad it was. Not because it was inaccurate, but because the podcast was just Bricky and his co-host, I don't give a fuck, name, you mean DK Diamantes? His name, listening to someone explain the story that happened in novels and them just cracking terrible jokes. Like I wanted to throw myself out of the window after hearing what they have said. I should check out that part. If you've got the link, I might actually listen to it. It sounds kind of funny. Yeah, I want to share your trauma. I want to live through your trauma and see how bad it is. I call people that defend content that does not even try to be correct slop enjoyers. Like they have a third guy explain the whole story and them being fucking nothing, just crack jokes. I think that's just every single Adeptus Ridiculous video, man. Like, okay, because, and also I feel like there's like two things being conflated right now, right? Corn, I feel like there's two things that's being like conflated, and that's the water is getting muddied a bit by what Major Kill is saying. Because number one, people are not getting angry because law troopers make a mistake. If a law trooper comes in, it gives the, I'll give one very good example. In one of my myth busting videos, I was talking about the Adeptus Mechanicus not understanding the technology that they wield. And this was contentious because, you know, some bullshit reason. People have other sources to argue with that. But the issue is that I would never feel wrong about what I did. Or that I feel that people cannot blame me for having that opinion when I have all the sources in front of me. I've done my utmost to provide all the sources. And the point of contention is other people bringing in other pieces of lore or people disagreeing with how I actually digested that lore. No one really blamed me, you know, just from the people commenting, no one really blamed me for getting the lore wrong. It was just like, hey, I just don't see it the same way as you. And so no one really blames a lore trooper or a Warhammer content creator if they try to just come in with the source, if they can provide the source and they show that they've done some research. They can say, hey, this came out from this book, from this page number, and so I have this way of thinking. No one will ever blame them. But if you come in with no source, with some like wild ass claim about like here's a good one. How Tyberos the Red Wake is so large that, you know, bits of dreadnoughts and shit need to be welded on him with no source given whatsoever. People will start taking issue with that because people will be like, where the fuck did this come from? Or another one, hey, the Baneblade was a light tank during the, you know, the dark age of technology. All right, give me the source number, give me the page number. I don't know. So it's two wildly different things. It's two wildly different worlds. And you cannot put them together. And what he's trying to do right now is trying to say, hey, he's trying to put the blame, the negativity onto the other group, on the group that does proper research. And he's trying to attach that onto himself. Because these two things are wildly different. Do you understand? And I'm sure you guys understand. I'm just, you know, I'm trying to talk like through the video right now. I'm not trying to say that, Corn, you don't understand. I'm trying to say, when I say do you understand? I'm trying to talk through the video. Like, you know what I mean. Let's read the rest of Light's content. Blah, 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 blah. Like they had a third guy explain the whole story and I'm just doing fucking nothing. Track joke. Yeah. Hassan on any of those podcasts. Is Ricky a fan of Hassan? They probably got the same politics. They probably won't like associate. Like, I think Bricky is a smart guy. I think Bricky he's probably more astute than Ludwig. So he's probably never going to put Hassan onto like Adeptus Ridiculous. Yeah, I don't think that will ever happen. And I don't think Hassan's really like a 40k version person anyways. Like he can try to infiltrate the hobby, but I think like it's he's too much of a fuckboy, like too much of a frat boy to even like entertain that idea. But they added nothing to the story. Not every fact can be argued that way though. Like the female custodians never existed, never always the Well, then here's the thing. just think about the female custodians. Up to a certain point in the lore, you cannot argue it that way. Like, I know that GW added a lot of like shit recently to muddy the water. Just cut that out for now. We know why they put them in there, okay? Because they're working they're putting the instead of working towards an answer, they put an answer and they're working themselves backwards right now. This is what GW is doing. So just take that out for the moment. You cannot argue that female custodians were a thing in good faith, like at all. That's the problem. So do not conflate the two together, because if you're arguing for female custodians, you will have to provide the evidence. And when you're not putting the evidence in there and people give you shit, then yeah, people should give you shit because you're just making shit up. And like, if people say, hey, I have this evidence about, I don't know, let's say, don't get angry when I say this. Let's say there was evidence about the female custodians, and they put in the page number and the book and all of that, and it's all sourced and all that. Even if you read that in the wrong way, people can at least take that in good faith that, hey, you got this wrong, you read this out of context, the background is wrong, but good try anyways. Versus the guy who's just like, nah, they're a thing because I feel like it is. My feelings tell me it's a thing. It's two wildly different things, and people who do these two different type of things needs to be judged differently. And you cannot say that, hey, can I as a person who just makes shit up have the same benefit of the doubt as a person who provides actual sources but got shit wrong? Can I have that same benefit of doubt? No, you can't, because you have not done that that minimum benchmark of work. You just cannot do that. Anyways, let's get through like the rest of the shit show. I am surprised that this entire video has like relatively little dislikes, because I feel like it's a little bit of a cop-out. I'm gonna finish the rest of this video first. and I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. And I think the Pontius will probably reply in the comment section. It has not been deleted, or maybe a video will be out as well. Oh, by the way, the Pontius did come out with like a new Lore Destroyer video, so we can probably check that out. I'm like, if you guys want me to, I can stream for a little bit longer because, hey, it's the holidays, right? So if you want me to, I'll stay for a bit longer.
To ya. If you like 40k casually and don't have a hectic attention span, then watch the content that suits that and enjoy the hobby in the way.
Sorry, let me put this in full screen and I'll go back about 10 seconds.
Watch the hectically deep channels that source everything and upload once a month, then power to ya. If you like 40k casually and don't have a hectic attention span, then watch the content that suits that and enjoy the hobby in the way you'd like to. I'm so fucking sick of people trying to tell others how they have to engage with a fictional sci-fi setting about super soldiers fighting demons and shit. Mind your own fucking business.
Bro, he's getting mad. And he is, you know, there is a frustration about the Pontius about that. Like, people that are a little bit angry because of him. Like him calling himself the lore master, or, you know, people, because it's like the whole politics, like SJW, you know, leftist thing. People do not like people do not like being told what to do with their things.
With a fictional sci-fi setting about super soldiers fighting demons and shit. Mind your own fucking business. The funny thing is, the same people kicking a fuss that Warhammer is no longer just for fat, balding nerds, but is actually getting enjoyed in a variety of ways, are the same people who aren't saying shit about 40k AI content. If you think me or another more easygoing lore content creator has errors in our videos, watch the AI lore videos. They are fucked and extremely inaccurate. ChatGPT, Gemini, or whoever cannot comprehend 40k accurately. It is that complicated.
I agree with Major Kill, and I wanted to bring this point up earlier. I just went on a tangent, and I think Major Kill is 100% correct there. AI channels are the absolute plague, and if at all possible, I feel like both sides need to actually come and like settle the differences. I mean, whatever. I don't know what beef there are, and just basically say no to the AI channels, because the AI channels have two things going on right now. And there's like a whole thing with the Remembrancer. Sorry, I'm going to call him Ram. I just cannot pronounce his name. His channel got demonetized because the YouTube think he's AI. And I'm going to give you my theory right now, is that when AI channels post, they probably have to declare that they are AI. It's way too obvious. And so YouTube will basically, when you flag yourself as an AI channel, YouTube will probably go through that channel and then aggregate what makes that channel AI. And then basically it will just poison the well for that entire format. It will probably learn that every single channel who speaks in a certain way, with like moving, sliding pictures without showing, you know, the actual person's face and all of that, has like a higher possibility of being AI. And then when there's a channel that goes that basically breaks through a certain, you know, AI threshold, they'll probably be demonetized. I think that is what's happening.
However, there are AI channels popping up everywhere, getting lots of views and full of so.
And so the issue with that is that if the AI channels keep going, YouTube will basically start confusing the AI channels with the legit 40k channels, and they'll probably start demonetizing more channels because fundamentally their formats are very similar. And I won't lie, there are very many. I'm sorry for my tenses. There are many talented voice actors or people who does 40k with very good voices that do it so well that the YouTube might actually think they're AI. They're real people. It's just that the way that they speak is so good. Their accent is so well done. You know, they're so professional that YouTube might actually think that they're AI because of how well they speak. And then they see the format with the moving pictures, you know, the slowly panning pictures. They're like, oh, hey, the format's the same, the voice is the same, this one's an AI, I think this one's AI as well, okay, I'm going to demonetize you. I think that's what's happening. So you need to get rid of the AI channels, or else this whole like confusion will just keep happening. Otherwise,
about gaming
otherwise I think that people might need to switch out their formats. People might actually need to do what Major Kill here is doing and maybe show their faces, but I don't think a lot of people are comfortable with that. There's this freaking mosquito that's like flying across my screen. Like every time, it's freaking the hell out. How do they keep getting higher roles in big companies? You ever thought of that? Scamming skills like maxed out. You're wrong, her. This YouTube CEO is super pro AI. No, I mean they're super pro AI. The issue is that they're super pro AI, but I'm saying the mechanicism, because you saw that what's happened with with Ram, right? With that channel. Basically, YouTube thought he was AI and then he got demonetized. And this has been going on with a few channels as well. Like, people open the lights on your corridor and open your room door. There's other shit outside my room as well. I just caught this like fucking big ass spider today. Oh, yeah. So the one thing that stressed me out today, there's a fucking big ass spider, and we don't get big spiders in New Zealand for like usually. But this spider, I swear to God, was like this big. It was about like 2.5 inches long. And that's a huge spider in terms of like a New Zealand spider. And then I was looking at it, I was like, oh shit. I got the spray can. I walked up to it, I sprayed it, and it fell down onto the ground. And I was like, all right, it's dead. I'll just go get the vacuum cleaner and then I'll just vacuum it up. That motherfucker, somehow, I was looking at it. And then that motherfucker was only half dead. And it was like limping. It was limping. And then it was obviously dying, but before it died, it made sure it died underneath my cabinet. So I can't get to it. There's like this fucking dead spider underneath my cabinet. And as like a last moment of spite, I'm not sure, maybe it's going to crawl into my mouth tonight and just take over my body, I don't know. So as a last as last action of spite, it died in the worst place possible. That piece of fucking shit. So no, I'm not gonna open the door. There's like other like mosquitoes and shit outside. Like I'm okay with one mosquito. And honestly, my blood is probably more toxic than anything. Like if it was my like boomer ass like gutter oil filled blood, then you know it feel free to partake. It's just probably gonna kill it. So where the fuck am I? What was I saying about Mr. Ram? Mr. Ram. Okay, let's just keep going.
That is a genuine problem that should bring the community together. I've been trying to raise awareness about that for some time, and it feels like I'm the only one that is. The irony of these purist wank creators shitting on channels like mine or Bricky is that if I moved on from 40k, which I eventually will because I have other things in my life I want to explore beyond Warhammer and YouTube, or Bricky decided to not make any more 40k content, then long term it would hurt those channels the most, as they aren't the ones bringing people into the hobby. People are brought in by the very channels those purists hate. But yeah, I just want to discuss why there are occasionally mixed
can you imagine the world without Bricky? Can you imagine the Warhammer 40k community if Bricky did not exist?
Ups by 40k creators. There isn't.
You should make it an emote about 8-bound painting, or make it a waiting screen. Wait, what do you mean a waiting screen? Like a you should make an emote about like 8-bound painting, or make it a waiting screen. So what, is it just me painting an 8-bound? I don't get it. You're gonna have to explain it to me.
This grand conspiracy that most lore creators don't actually know shit and only read the wikis and make stuff up. The lore is just so impossible.
You know when how streamers have an image or a video playing in the background before the stream starts, but why, like, is it like an actual me painting the 8-bound, like a clip from a live stream, or is it like a image of me, like a cartoon painting an 8-bound? And why painting the 8-bound? Is it because I paint the 8-bound that slowly? Oh, is that the joke? Oh, cartoon. Ah, I get it. All right. So maybe I should just have me painting the 8-bound, and you just see like the sun setting, and then the moon coming up, and then the sun setting, the moon setting again, the sun coming up, and then the season is like changing outside.
Fast and full of so many contradictions and
okay, I get what you mean.
It's inevitable that there will be
a good idea.
Misinterpretations or mix-ups from both creators like me and creators that claim to be lore masters, and that is okay. The more 40k lore content made by different creators means more people see the hobby and have a chance to join it, and I think that's beautiful. There are so many other threats to Warhammer and its community beyond the lore being near impossible to 100% understand at all times. Let's focus on those rather than just trying to civil war over dumb shit, because that's retarded. Anyways, Merry Christmas. I'm going to take a bit of time off to see my family and touch grass. I suggest everyone else do the same. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up a lore art calendar. 24 hours left, you do not want to miss out. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
I still don't get it. It's not him doing that, it's him doing that. I don't get it. It's like some Zoomer thing. So
myself and many of my fellow lore YouTubers.
I feel like there's a lot of bricky glazing in this video. Yeah, there's a fair amount of bricky glazing. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't think it'll be real. I don't think it'll be replaced by AI. Simple as is that if you are on the screen like this, like speaking as a normal person, it's very hard for YouTube to justify flagging you as an AI. It's trying to hop on his dick. He probably wants a collab, to be honest. And I don't think he would probably get it. I just don't think like Bricky the sort of person who would collab with him. Wait, what's happening? No value random. He's trying to hop on his dick. Yeah. Wait. What the hell are you guys doing? Like, are you trying to assemble the Avengers? What the? Crack duck in the thumbnail. Holy hell, the orc just ripped out into his balls. I do like this art, by the way. This is a very fun art. This is a really cool art. In the circle. All right, you guys do that. Gatekeep my channel. Whatever. The main problem with G40k lore is the amount of writers involved in not to mention if you spend 7 years consuming 40k lore. I mean, the comment section seems pretty mild. Okay, so what I think about this is that I just don't like the way that he kind of misrepresent and strawmans certain positions, like saying, hey, if you know the lore, if you enjoy the hobby, if you've been in the hobby for a long time, you're just a fat, neck beard, no life in your mother's basement. Hey, I just don't like the fact that he's like calling nerds out while he's making nerd content, man. It just feels kind of insulting to me. It feels a little bit personal, because I was that nerd at a certain point of time. Like when I was in high school, I really liked anime and 40k.